Hey guys, Harrison, I'm back at it once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome to part 28, I think, of our Formula 1 2011 career mode playthrough as we go for our race in Monza. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna keep the gameplay talk to a minimum. I just want you to enjoy the race on this one because it's not the most action-packed footer I've had so far this season, but it was a lovely drive and I really enjoyed it. And Force India in general just had an awesome race. So I'm going to leave you to enjoy that while I talk about some other topics that people have brought to my attention. And well, we're now halfway through the actual Formula 1 season. We're 10 of 20 in. Firstly, I've got to apologise for me being unsure about the Circuit of the Americas. I've been told it's practically done by many of my American subscribers. So for those who told me about that, thank you very much for that. I appreciate the information. But I've been told the Circuit of Americas is pretty much good to go. So that's excellent news. I'm really glad it's going well, and I can't wait to see how it turns out on television. But obviously, for those who are unaware of my race review when I filmed it, when I filmed the race review for Germany the other day on Sunday, this was before the stewards came out of a 20-second time penalty for Sebastian Vettel. For his illegal overtake on Jenson Button with 2 laps to go in the race. Obviously I put an annotation there, but everybody watches on computers and some people watch on their TVs, others will watch on their phones, and there's no annotations on those. So for those who were saying that, I was aware of the penalty. I mentioned it in the comments. I put it as an annotation. Well, I didn't really get a chance to talk about it on video. I think it's an extremely harsh penalty for Sebastian Vettel, to be honest with you. I mean, it kind of cancels out some of the bullshit people were talking about on Twitter when they were saying, oh, the FIA are biased towards Red Bull, I've never seen them get a penalty. And it's like, well, that kind of cancels out your theory then, doesn't it? Because they came down hard on Vettel on this one. I mean, 20 seconds for one move like that, I think is extremely harsh. I mean, in my honest opinion, I think the better option was just to reverse the pass, maybe add 5 seconds onto Vettel's time and give Button his second place back and then have Vettel take third. I don't think Kobayashi and Raikkonen and Button should have all benefited from Sebastian Vettel's incident, something that had nothing to do with them. But at the same time, I kind of appreciate the value the FIA taking in this, because Martin Rundle wrote a great blog about this situation where he went out and said the FIA needs to take a stance against this. They need to cut this out of the sport now, because it's not the first time this has happened this season. I mentioned back to the Nico Rosberg blocking the Lewis Hamilton incident from earlier this season, where Hamilton went off the track to gain an advantage and pass Rosberg, even though Rosberg got most of the blame. I'm glad the FIA are taking a stance against this, because we don't need to see people cheating like that. I know Vettel's move was probably a little bit unnecessary, but we can't tell the future. We would never know what would have happened on that last race. So, it's kind of one of those let's look in the crystal ball kind of moments here. But I think that was a harsh penalty, in my opinion. I think just knocking Vettel down to third would have been a much fairer punishment in my eyes. But again, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think Vettel's penalty was fair? Do you think it was harsh? I think it was harsh, that's just me. But I'm glad that, the FIA, to a degree, I'm kind of glad the FIA took this kind of stance to try and cut this crap out of the sport. It doesn't need to happen. Many people will overtake and they'll cut the corners and things like that. And, it's the kind of thing that needs to be curbed in general in Formula 1. Anyway, I want to talk about some moments of the season so far, and some of the major talking points that have taken place so far this year. We're halfway through. We've done Germany. It's Hungary this weekend. So you think about it, we're already blasting through this season, even though there's now going to be a summer break coming up soon, and the season doesn't actually end until the end of November. Even though it doesn't feel like we've already gone through 10 races, but we have. Let's cut to the obvious here. This season's probably been the most competitive season of Formula 1 we've had in many years. I mean, we had 7 different winners in the first 7 races alone, something that's never happened in the history of this sport. from Jenson Button winning the opener to Lewis Hamilton in Canada, Sebastian Vettel in Bahrain, Mark Webber in Monaco, Nico Rosberg in China. I mean, you can go on and on here. We've had so many different winners, and only now, the last 2 or 3, have we started to see a pattern of, I think, of where the field is right now. I think the best team and the best car right now is clearly Red Bull, in my honest opinion. I think they have the best all-round package right now, and I think they've been the most consistent. I mean, yes, okay, let's be honest here. After Australia, raise your hand if you genuinely thought Fernando Alonso would lead the World Championship at the halfway point. Hand down at the back. There is absolutely no way anybody could have accurately called that, because the Ferrari looked like a joke. It was handled in terribly, the balance was off straight. Massa had a horror race in Australia, and Alonso had to fight hard. I think it was 6th place he got in Australia. I'm not 100% sure on that, it was a while ago. Think about it, it's now like 4 months since that happened. It's crazy. But I mean, now you see the improvement in that Ferrari. It's ridiculous just how better they've gotten now, and Alonso is now consistently heading the field and is right up there now. I mean, he was very, very close to winning at Silverstone as well, and there's a good chance he would have had 4 race wins, but right now he leads the World Championship by 34 points. He has more than a 1 race advantage over the rest of the field as well. So you have to give serious props to the Ferrari team and how they've improved the car and moulded it to get the best out of Fernando Alonso. Even Felipe Massa, despite his bad luck over the course of the season and numerous errors, even he's shown signs of improvement. He had a fantastic 4th place at Silverstone. I mean, 2nd and 4th for Ferrari. No wonder they're leading the Constructors' Championship by a healthy margin as well. I mean, Felipe Massa was stepping up, and he can step up into that second driver role, block guys off, and take points away from the other rivals. I don't think there's going to be anything that can stop Fernando Alonso from winning his 3rd World Championship. I really don't. Sebastian Vettel, as much as he likes to be the butt of everybody's jokes because he's successful and drives for Red Bull and he dominated last season, that kind of puts a bullseye on his back. And let's be honest here for a minute, Sebastian Vettel has been extremely unlucky this second half of the season so far. I mean, the blowout in Valencia probably cost him 25 points. He was unlucky to get 8 points taken away from this race in my eyes. He had points taken away from him here. And just in general, I mean, the puncher in Malaysia was another example. Let's be honest again here. Did everybody here really think Mark Webber was going to be ahead of Sebastian Vettel at this point in the World Championship race? Probably not. Vettel's been extremely unlucky as well. I think he's still shown flashes of his typical brilliance, and I think he's still the best qualifier in the field, around 1 lap of a track. But the double world champion has not had it his own way this season, and many casual fans of the sport will probably enjoy that fact, because let's be honest, many people got bored when Schumacher was so dominant, and the same applied for Sebastian Vettel. I think Vettel is an extremely nice guy. I think he's the funniest driver in Formula 1, with his impressions, his flirting with Lee Mackenzie, and just general his character. He's not, you don't want to play to that typical German stereotype of being boring and, having a bad sense of humour, but Vettel is a hilarious guy, and I like him a lot. I don't see why he gets all the... I think some of the hate he gets is unwarranted, but he has been extremely unlucky this season so far. Maybe the second half of the season he'll take over again, and he'll find the charge towards Alonso and things like that. The biggest surprise, in my opinion, I think is split between Lotus and Sauber. Lotus have shown they've clearly got a good car underneath them. I think 2 or 3 times they've been very unlucky not to have won a race. Kimi Raikkonen in Bahrain being the biggest example. If he just managed to find a way around Sebastian Vettel on that second stint, he probably would have gone on to win the race in Bahrain. Again, was unlucky in Valencia not to have won. He had the car to do it. I just think by the time the end of the race rolled around, Alonso was clear and Hamilton was holding him up just about long enough to stop the Iceman's charge. Romain Grosjean, I think, when he hasn't crashed out on the first lap of a race, has been very solid this year as well. Again, extremely unlucky had a real chance of winning in Valencia as well if it wasn't for the, I think it was a hydraulic failure in the end which put Grosjean out. But again, he's been another guy that's been extremely unlucky, and he's shown real form this season as well. So Lotus have that race pace, no doubt about it, to challenge for wins. And I still stand by my statement. I think Lotus will win a race at some point in this season. Maybe Spa down the line, because Kimi Räikkönen absolutely loves that track. But I think Lotus have got a really solid base underneath them to be up there. And you know what? You could argue they're the second or third best team in Formula 1 right now. I mean, I think they are second in the Constructors' Championship. And you think of that team, pound for pound, they're probably number 2 or 3. I mean, no other team is consistently denting the top 6 like Lotus are, which isn't a Ferrari or a Red Bull or a McLaren. Sauber as well, another team that has shown that they've taken real strides this season. They've not been super consistent, but they've been up there. I mean, there's almost always a Sauber in the points every race now. And they had probably their best combined team result in many, many years. Just last time out in Germany, I think it was overall 4th and 6th for Kobayashi and Perez. Sebastian Vettel ended up splitting them after his penalty. I mean, what is a great performance from the Sauber team? I mean, 4th and 6th for a team like that is astonishing. They're clearly the best midfield team in Formula 1. I mean, they've done a fantastic job. Their tyre management is excellent. And they've got 2 very good and brave drivers. I love Sergio Perez. I'm a big fan of Kobayashi as drivers. They're excellent overtakers. Perez's pure pace, I think, is up there with the very best of them. And I don't think Ferrari would like to admit it, but I still think they want to bring in Sergio Perez to replace Felipe Massa. I mean, it's interesting enough when you hear Mark Webber say that he was in contract talks with Ferrari. So it was clear that Ferrari were willing to cut Massa loose if need be, if they wanted to bring Mark Webber in to fill the gap and make their team better, which is going to be very interesting as well. The biggest disappointments, I think, also tied between Mercedes and McLaren. I really did think McLaren had the best overall package to start the season off, and obviously they've got 2 of the top 5 guys in the sport, in Jenson Button and Lewis Hamilton in their team. Combined, yes, they have 2 race wins, but they've also had a lot of very disappointing performances on top of that. I mean, Jenson Button, until Germany, was having a really, really, really bad streak of form. Lewis Hamilton, again, was unlucky to get the puncture in Germany, but again, has not been at his ultimate form this season, because we all know when Lewis Hamilton's at his best, nobody can beat him. I can't believe I'm pandering to some of the childish McLaren fans I have that follow me or sometimes, and you know, they send me abuse on Twitter and things like that, which is just ridiculous. But which reminds me of a point I wanted to make in a video. I've had a lot of McLaren fans gun me down on the internet for not being a fan of their team. People, when I make my race reviews, I try to be as unbiased as possible. I just give my opinions and I report what happens in the race. Okay? For those who are telling me that why do I not support McLaren even though you're British? I have the freedom of choice to support whoever I want, if I want to support somebody. I don't. I just enjoy the sport for what it is. There's guys I like more than others, yes, but I don't actively say, okay, go Vettel, go win this race, or go Lewis, go win this race. I just enjoy the sport, okay? I just wanted to get that off my chest and say that on the record. I don't support anybody. I just enjoy the sport. Same thing applies for me in MotoGP and in other sports as well. I don't actively cheer for a guy, I just enjoy certain guys more than others. Anyway, McLaren, I think, have clearly, for a team of their caliber, prestige, and capabilities, they should really be dominating the World Championship, in my opinion, or at least having guys right up there. They don't. I think Hamilton's something like 50 points off the top now, and Button has been in a wasteland until he got his 18 in Germany. Mercedes as well have been another team which I thought should have been right up there this year. I think they were the closest team to challenge for the top 6 consistently last season, and I think this was the year they were meant to step up and prove they could be a big time consistent race winner. They had the one win in Shanghai with Nico Rosberg, but besides that, they've just been littered with mechanical failures and just underwhelming performances all round. I mean, This is a team that, in my opinion, were probably the next best team to challenge for race wins, and it just hasn't really worked out for them in the end. I think Mercedes are capable of better, which is why I'm calling them out and questioning them for this right now, because I think they are capable of better. Other things I want to point out, I'm going to let you guys decide what you want me to talk about when it comes to this season so far. If you have an interesting topic you want me to talk about in other Formula 1 videos in the future, please let me know. I'd really, really like to know what you guys want me to talk about, and give my opinions in general. But that's some of the key things I've pointed out from this season so far. Hopefully, with a little luck and you guys' feedback and support, that hopefully I'll be able to keep these commentaries interesting, because it's not easy talking for 15 or 20 minutes consistently like I've had to do in many a video, including this one. It's not easy, but that's where you guys come in. You can make my videos better by suggesting topics. So hopefully, you guys will enjoy it. And one more thing I wanted to point out before I go. Thanks to everybody who's got me now to over the 1,700 subscriber mark now. It's awesome. I take a bit of pleasure in the number 17 because that's my birthday number. It's my lucky number. It's number 17. My birthday is August the 17th. Kind of want to do something special for that, but I don't know what yet. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe something will pop up now and again, or some idea will enter my head. Maybe that'll be the second community race. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And I also got my first YouTube paycheck today, which is an amazing thing. I mean, yes, I do get paid for this via YouTube's monetization and AdSense program. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching the video. If anybody's been clicking links for adverts and things like that, just to support me, I want to thank you all very much for that. It's been able to make me a bit of money on the side. It's a really, really, really cool thing when you absolutely love doing what you do and you're able to get paid for it. It just goes hand in hand in heaven like that. So thank you all very much for that. I hope you enjoyed the video. I mean, I think I've just crossed the line about now on my video, so I can say it was an awesome win. Mark Webber was gunning me down at quite a rate towards the end there, because Mark Webber is the most broken driver in this damn game. I mean, I think a lot of your comments from Spa was about that, how Webber just is a freak on the tyres and is just so much faster than everybody else. He's blatantly about as overpowered as Gabriel Bonlahor is in FIFA. But, Webber was chasing me down. But I got the win, and look at that, Adrian Sittel came in 5th as well. So 1st and 5th for the little team that could force India. Fantastic drive. Sittel came from 10th as well to 5th, so +5 for Sittel. He must have heard the rumours about me, him getting cut next season, so he must have obviously just put the foot down on this one. But, yeah, an awesome drive. I absolutely love Monza as a track. It's my favourite track in the game. And to win round here is a dream come true. It's my 6th win of the season as well. So I'm right back in the world title race as well, which is awesome. So until next time, until Singapore, I will catch you guys on the next episode of Formula 1 2011's Career Mode playthrough. I've been Harrison101. Please like, favourite, comment and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all next time. Thanks for watching. Sayonara.